Welcome. My name is Susan Young, Mindful Coaching. Today we're going to do a meditation about coming home to our body. Coming home to our body. And the invitation is to become more aware of the body as we go through this meditation. We've just had a great conversation about the complicated relationship that many of us have with our bodies. And so allowing the complications to emerge. We're not going to make support and gratitude and soft phrases. We may want to support thank you to our body, no matter what. And sometimes there's parts of the body that don't work as well, and we might not be in a place of gratitude. So giving yourself space in this meditation to be where you're at. And I'll invite you to do that right now. So, closing your eyes, settling yourself in. Letting yourself be here. Now, coming to a sense of rest as you begin to tune in to your own breathing. Just allowing the breathing to be as it is. You might choose to breathe more deeply. That might be something that's beneficial to you. But not because it's suggested. Letting the decisions as you move through this come from the body. Letting yourself become curious and aware as you settle into this body, just as it is right now. Just as this body is. And similar to a body scan, I invite you to become conscious and aware of your feet, of both your feet. Kind of have a sense of the toes, the bottom of the feet, the top of the feet, all the little bones in the feet, all the ways that your body has carried you, all the way your feet have carried you throughout your time, from when you took your first step, if you're a walking person and not in a wheelchair. And if you can, just wiggle your feet around, wiggle your toes and your feet, and feel the movement. Tuck the toes under, straighten the toes out, and then come into stillness. Aware of breathing, aware of feet. And if it feels right for you, thanking and acknowledging the feet. If it doesn't feel right for you, that's okay too. And then with your awareness, move up through the ankles to the calves and shins. And allowing the calves and shins, both the inside with the muscles and the bones, the tibia, just becoming inside your body. And then as you move with your awareness on the next out breath, up to your knees. And maybe these joints of your knees are complex. Maybe, like me, you have significant knee issues. And if you can, if it's possible for you accepting that reality, these knees are struggling, which many of us have in this world as we get older. These joints are complex. And we accept and feel gratitude, if it's right for you, for all the years that perhaps they've worked for you. And maybe now they're not working as well, or maybe they're fine, and you just feel, yay, knees. Wherever you're at, that acceptance. Noticing resistance, if there's any there. And letting that be okay too. And as you move up through the thighs, the big bone in the center of the thigh, the flesh around the thighs, all the muscles. Maybe you have a complex relationship with your thighs or your legs altogether. Maybe you don't kind of like them very much or don't think they look nice. Perhaps you're even critical towards your thighs. And maybe that's what you want to accept today. I'm critical. Or maybe you want to invite critical to fall away and accept the thighs just as they are. Being aware of the imposition of the belief systems of a culture that might demand we have thin thighs, or that they look a certain way. And maybe we're aware we carry these beliefs. Noticing the breathing, and if you can, allowing the breath to come down to the thighs and the knees and the calves, all the way to the feet, and feel both legs from the tips of your toes right up to the top of your thighs. And again, if it feels right, thank your legs for taking such good care of you. If you're a walking person, for taking you around and walking, and maybe you've run, maybe you've swum, maybe you've kicked. Maybe if you haven't walked, they've been there for you in other ways. Or you might feel resentment if they haven't been there for you, or parts of them don't work well. And then letting the legs come to the back of your awareness. Breathing out. Move into your buttocks and your pelvis, your hips. That whole entire area, including your genitals. And you have an awareness of this part of your body. Maybe it's more enervated or oxygenated. As you breathe in, bring your awareness entirely to this part of your body. Maybe it's numb. Maybe you feel happy with this part of your body. Maybe you think your bum's too big. Maybe things have been done to this part of your body that you didn't give your agreement to, besides being a baby and having your diapers changed. So being aware of perhaps a complex relationship with this part of your body as well. Maybe it's one of the areas you take a step back and accept that you're not accepting. Or maybe you accept with ease this part of your body. Finding what's right and true for you in your relationship. Coming home to this body and this awareness just as it is. If there's a comparison to an earlier version of yourself or to someone else's body, just noticing that. And take a moment and pause here, breathing in from the top of the hips all the way down to the tips of your toes, the whole of the lower body. Being aware if you have complexities in relationship. And breathing in, maybe you can soften and let go a little bit more of any tension that's there. Gratitude for this part of your body, for all the ways that it has been with you since you were first born. And on your next exhale, come into awareness of your lower back. And an awareness of the spine all the way up from just below the lower back, each of those discs all the way up to the top, to the base of your skull. And each of those little discs with some fluid between them. And maybe you have a challenging relationship with this part of your body. Or maybe you have an easy relationship and a relationship of gratitude. If it's possible for you, or if there's a willingness, move your mind up the spine from the curve of the lower back, the lumbar, up through the curve the other way, and then moving into the mid of the back, the thoracic, and then right up to the top, the cervical, the top 8 discs. And then breathing in, feel once again the movement all the way up your spine, all those nerves reaching out around. Some of them might be pinched, some of them might be open, all the way down to the base of the spine. And then radiating across your lower back. Maybe you've had lower back issues, mid back and upper back. Awareness. This body is my home. And can I be with it as it is at the same time as I'm with my emotions and my thoughts? And allowing the breath to be there. Allowing the awareness of whatever you're experiencing. And then imagining the depth of your lower back all the way to your lower belly. Your belly button and your upper belly all the way to the mid back. And then this whole area inside your body where all the digestion happens automatically without you having to think about it. And as you breathe in, feel a softness in here, an acceptance, or an awareness of a lack of acceptance. Many people struggle with rounding bellies or perhaps digestion issues. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you can bring both your hands onto this part of your body if that's right for you. And noticing if there's judgment or complexity with this part of your body. And then letting go of that too. And before we move up to the ribs and the chest, just bring your hands below the base of the ribs and there across that part of your body from the center to the edges where the ribs start. Underneath, there's the diaphragm that brings us breathing. And if your hands are there and you want to take a big breath, feel the expansion of the diaphragm and the belly. And then exhaling, letting the whole body get as soft as you can, as you're willing. And maybe releasing the hands. Most of us don't have judgment around our diaphragms, do we? But we might have judgment around how deep or shallow we breathe. So you might notice that now, without changing your breathing in any way. Having an awareness of the ribs. And again, we rarely judge the ribs for being too fat or too skinny or not being good enough. So just noticing your ribs. The ribs are around the front, the chest, all the way up, and they come to the sides, and then they are at the back. Maybe you want to move your hands around your ribs and feel them as you breathe in and breathe out. And inside those ribs sit the lungs and the heart. And as you breathe in, you have a sense of the breath feeding the lungs, feeding the heart as it sends oxygen throughout the body. And again, we rarely say, well, your heart's a little bit too fat. Although as we get older, we do have to watch for fat in the heart in case of health issues. But we don't judge it the way we do our bellies or the way we do our thighs. So just kind of notice that. This is my heart. Hello, heart. These are my lungs that I'm breathing with, breathing in, breathing out. We're going to pause and just rest here for several breaths. And we know for many women on the outside of the chest, there are breasts, and some women get their breasts enlarged, some women get their breasts, whatever the opposite is, small, getting them smaller. Some women have their breasts removed for health or to be truer to their own identity. These are often complex relationships. Some people nurse, some people don't. They're often used in our sexuality. So wherever you are in relationship, if you're a woman and you have breasts, or you're a man and you don't have breasts, or you're a trans person and you may have had your breasts, or you're non-binary and your breasts, you may have had upper surgery. So just noticing your relationship with your upper chest. And before we move down the arms, we're going to move into the armpits and kind of feel all around the armpits and the shoulders, the shoulder girdle. And maybe you've had shoulder injuries before, or maybe not. And then we're going to move down our arms to our elbows, and from our elbows to our forearms, and from our wrists to our hands and fingers. And feel from your fingertips all the way up to the top of your shoulders and all the way down. And maybe you like your hands and arms. Maybe they don't work that well. And so I know some people, I met someone on Saturday who didn't have the lower half of one arm. Just being with your body as it is so far. And we're going to pause here and take a breath from the tips of your toes up through your legs, through your hips and buttocks, up through your belly, back to the ribs, your shoulders, all the way down to your fingers. Feeling with this body just as it is. And whatever parts or the wholeness of it you feel gratitude for. And if that's not there for you for some parts, stepping it back and noticing that in your mind. And then breathing in. And on your next out breath, feel the The top of your shoulders, you can feel the clavicles. You can bring your hands up there if you like. And the neck and the throat, feeling both the outside, perhaps with your hands, and the inside. The throat that turns into the esophagus, the breathing that this part connects. Breathing in through your nose and down through the center of your body so that your lungs can get breath. And maybe cervical spine, the top right from the base of your spine all the way down, the curve. And then moving up through the jaws, the tongue soft, the teeth, the gums. And maybe you've had a complex relationship with teeth over your lifetime. Teeth falling out, putting teeth back in. Maybe you have dentures, maybe your gums. And feel the connection from your mouth down through your throat, and feeling that lead right into your body, the connection with this body. And then out through the lips, and then through the nostrils where you feel the breath come in. And maybe you love your nose, maybe you hate your nose, maybe you're somewhere in between. And maybe feeling the cheeks and the jawbones, softening into the bones in your face. Moving your awareness up to the eyes that sit in this chamber, the retinal chamber. And you have a sense of your color of your eyes, which maybe you like, maybe you don't like. Just noticing that. Maybe your eyes work well. Maybe you're losing sight in your eyes. Perhaps you're blind. And you have an awareness of the complexity of medicine, complexity of the medical issues that lead to that. Or perhaps you were born blind, or don't have the use of your ears, although then you couldn't be hearing me. Allowing the eyes to rest. And maybe you have a complex relationship with your eyes. Or maybe they've just been good to you. Either way, if you can, gratitude for what you have, for the things you have seen, letting your eyeballs rest back into the chamber. Softening the eyelids, all around above the eyes, beside the eyes, and underneath the eyes, right up to the center where the nose and the eyebrows and the temples. Across the scalp where the hair. Maybe you've lost hair, maybe you're bald, maybe you fought with that at some point in your life. Maybe you're thinning hair, and that's hard. Inviting a softening, an acceptance of this body just as it is. And then down to your ears, which may work well, which might need hearing aids. And if they don't work at all, then letting that go. Now the whole body, we're going to take in the whole body. From the top of our heads, all the way down. The outside and the inside, the space around the body. Keeping your awareness and going at the right pace for you, moving your awareness down through the body, noticing areas where you feel uncomfortable, or you might feel pain or discomfort or intensity, or some area where you feel lightness and ease, and all the way down to the tips of your toes. Breathing up from your toes all the way up to the top, and all the way down to the bottom. Now, using your imagination and your mind's eye, open up the top of your skull so there's a sense of an openness of your energy moving down through the center of your body, just in front of the spine, a channel, some say in the East, that connects you both to the earth and connects you out to the stars. And if you have a higher power, and allow yourself to sit here for a moment or so more before we come to the ending. Perhaps you're going through an aging process, or you're vulnerable. Perhaps the body is vulnerable. This body was never designed to remain the same, and it's changing moment by moment. And then slowly opening your eyes. Maybe you need some movement. Thank you for joining me.